So the analytical life cycle approach to methods actually builds on the traditional approaches that we have used for method development, but it works to take it to the next level.
See, the analytical method lifecycle management is a new concept, but that adds a lot of value to the analytical methods. And the reason is any process or any product that's designed to perform optimally will drift with time. So this drift can cause things to change, the accuracy can change, the precision of the method can change. So the whole concept of lifecycle management is to minimize this drift and study the effect of this drift on the final product.
It is a process in which you start with your goals well defined at the beginning. You have a strategy to understand how you should go about developing a method, and you have defined stages of a process that you need to understand. And so with that concept, lifecycle management is really approaching all these different parts in a way that they are not disconnected.
ATP is a relatively new term, stands for Analytical Target Profile, and it identifies specifically what are the expectations for the analytical method that's going to be developed. Frequently it will address such things as accuracy, precision, and specificity, and it needs to understand the process across the entire life cycle of the analytical procedure. So not just what's going on during the development phases and early validation, but considering the eventual customers such as quality control and transfers to labs that might be halfway across the world.
I think with life cycle management of an analytical method, we are ahead of the curve. It starts with stage 1, the method development, the understanding and design. And stage 2, the method performance qualification, that is actually the validation, verification, and the transfer of a method. And stage 3 is the routine use of a method, which includes troubleshooting of already existing methods.
You can really control the sources of variability and put the necessary controls so that you have a control strategy that will help you to run the method in a robust way.
The goal is to reduce the risk so that the regulators and the inspectors can be sure that you have your process under control.
Analytical quality by design, or AQBD, is an integral part of the analytical lifecycle process. And what it does is it leverages the concepts we've used in the manufacturing arena for the last decade or so and moves them into the analytical arena.
And that gives you a design space where the work or where the method will work. And this will bring you confidence that this method is suitable for the process and will handle any changes that may appear in the future.
Tovion applies the quality by design principles to production and to process development. This will expedite our method development, and also it will allow us to have in the end more robust methods that we can then continue improving during the life cycle.
One of the outcomes that we expect from AQBD is that the variability in the analytical results will be much smaller, and therefore the ability for us to make good quality decisions based on the data that we're generating will be improved. We've already seen the FDA include a whole section of their method validation guidance that was issued in 2015 on this life cycle approach, recognizing some of the benefits. We've learned recently that ICH is going to take on this whole concept in revising ICH Q2, but also creating a new guidance, ICH Q14, that will address analytical method development. USP has been at the forefront of this and published a number of stimuli articles and a proposed new general chapter on the concept of this analytical life cycle approach.
I think the consensus is in the long run, this approach will afford a more robust method, so we'll have less failure. Also, there are potentially some regulatory flexibilities with this new approach.
The reasons behind the proposed Chapter 1220 on life cycle approach to methods by USP are really to decrease the frequency that we see with out of specification and out of trend results, and to facilitate smoother transfers of methods across laboratories.
With this new approach, holistic evaluation of the method performance and the data quality can be obtained, so we have higher confidence on the data quality.
The benefits of using the life cycle concept would be that you gain a lot of knowledge about your product and your method, that you can convince the regulators that you have this knowledge and that the method was really fine developed.
There's nothing you could do with product failures. Product failure is a product failure. But if the method is bad, a good product can be recalled. So that can be minimized by having a good lifecycle management approach.
Your primary goal is to achieve good medicine to your patients. And so you need to be in control of what you do.
The key benefits to the pharmaceutical developers and the patients is the safety of the drug.
Columns are often the keystone part of a chromatographic analysis, and we need to evaluate the reliability and consistency of columns, particularly from batch to batch.
The consumables of Waters are also very interesting for us because of the scalability of the columns, for example, the robustness of the column, the batch-to-batch reproducibility of the columns, also the SPE columns.
So I can rely that the quality of the column will not change throughout time. So that's an important part.
Empower is in the moment the #1 software on the market for pharmaceutical industry, where we can create our own calculations. We can control MS detection, for example, in a GMP environment. If you know how to use Empower, it can fit all your recommendations for data integrity.
When we started for looking at softwares that could provide some help doing our design of experiments, for instance, it was helpful to get information from Waters and also the partners they have regarding quality by design tools. So we use nowadays those tools to help us perform design of experiments integrated with Empower, which is good because it allows you to have a faster way and how to do things.
The QDA, for example, what we call Pocket MS, that was brand new and very helpful for people who are not experts in using MS. It's a good add-on detector for peak tracking in the method development. Why would I recommend Waters products? It's the accuracy, the precision, the scalability.
Waters is uniquely positioned to facilitate the implementation of these concepts because they've got such a huge reputation within the industry for being an instrument and column leader. Additionally, they've got a seasoned applications lab that's been helping people to develop methods for a long time. In addition to that, they have strategic alliances with statistical software companies, which when you put all of these together, if there's a desire to implement the paradigm and lead the industry, they are well poised to do that.